gentlemen, breaking news from the office of the president. As you know, we do our best not to talk about the campaign here behind this podium because of the Hatch Act and all. But today we are making an exception because the president has some grave news to deliver to the American people. And I won the straw poll. And so, therefore, as I, the press secretary, the Madame Press Secretary, will be delivering to you the message of the president in reference to the breaking news that we have going on. So please excuse me while I pull up my notes so I have the exact words of the presidency that you may understand exactly where our president is coming from, President Joe R. Biden. So without further ado, let me pull up my notes so that I can deliver to you, the people, exactly what President Joe Biden has to say in reference to the breaking news of the presidency. And the president says, "My dear fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in the lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critical, needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate change legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once in a century pandemic and the most economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as the president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is the best interest of the party and of the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president of the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decisions. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith, trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do. When we do it together, we just have to remember we are the United States of America. Signed, R. Biden. And I approve this message. So I made a boo-boo and I forgot to mention a few things, so I had to take it to Twitter in reference to the president. So here's the tweet that we sent out because we want to make sure America understands that we support Kamala Harris. And so here's the president's tweet. He says, "My fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and go focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. And it's been the best decision I've ever made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement to Kamala to be the nominee for our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and let's beat Trump. Let's do this." As you know, President Joe Biden has been under the weather with the COVID and the cold. And so we're not able to bring him out here to have a press conference. So as the press secretary, as the madame of the administration, I am as the mouthpiece of the administration. I was told to come out here to address you, the community, you, the people, you, the Americas. And so, yes, President Joe Biden, as I eloquently read just now from the letter that I wrote, President Joe Biden has now withdrawn from the election. And from this moment on, we will strictly be focused on this administration and the good work that we've done. Now, we've tooted all of our great things that we've done thus far. And so we've left out many things. And so we're going to make sure we continue to fight for democracy. We're going to make sure we continue to fight for the American people. And we're going to continue to make sure we're doing the things that the Americas needs done. So we're going to focus on all of our energies on this election. And no, we're going to focus all of our energies on this presidency as we look forward to the convention coming up this month in August, as we, the Democrats, will rally together behind Kamala Harris. Excuse me, friends, but I was just choking on my words. So, yes, we are going to be focusing on the election. No, we're going to be focusing on the office of the presidency. And with that, friends, I'm going to yield back my time. And I need to go back and be with the president because I don't know what else I need to do for him right now. I may need to put up his Pampers or something. So that's going to be it for this press conference. And I'm going to go and help the president as I give him soup and hydroxychloroquine for the COVID. You know, I make it myself every now and then for him to keep him strong. And so we're going to be going to make sure the president is doing all right. And I will see y'all on Monday right here at this podium as we address the business of the people, of the American people, and our president. And I'll see y'all. Goodbye. Have a good day.
Hey guys, welcome to my stream. I had to get that out of my system before I came on here. Yeah, me, the madame, the press secretary, always doing the president's work. You understand. So yes, friends, Joe Biden has dropped out of the race. I got the news, about 2 hours ago. I was busy in the kitchen doing some cooking and everything. And the TV was on and I heard Joe Biden has dropped. I said, what? Yes, Joe Biden has dropped out of the race, if you have not heard. And so that poses the question. Now, I don't know exactly what made them decide to do this thing right now, being that everybody has known the situation of Joe Biden for years. And I mean, it couldn't have really have been this debate that really said to them, okay, you know what? Maybe we need to pull back because, yeah, he's just not going to get through it. They've all known that. Again, Joe Biden is just a shell in the way. So obviously we know people are pulling the strings, but they decided to pull him out of this race. And they're going to come out here and tell us all kinds of stories, all kinds of stuff. But we better be sure that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. And when I heard he had the COVID a couple of days ago, I was like, okay, so they're going to use the COVID to put him down. And I said that to somebody. I was like, they're going to use this COVID to do whatever they're going to do. And so here we are Sunday, and this is where we are. So he's been in hiding, or he's been in recovery, which means people have been coming, calling, talking. So they pulled him out of the scene so he would have some time to be able to be talked to. So they can say, Joe, we're gonna have to come to an understanding. It's gonna happen this weekend, friend. This weekend, we're gonna have to lay down the law on how you gonna proceed. And here's what you're gonna do. So I actually make jokes that Karine Jean-Pierre wrote the letter, but I'm kind of curious as to who wrote the letter, because I dare to believe that Jill Biden actually pulled up her typewriter or her computer and typed in those words, because we know old Joe couldn't do it. Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to type it up for him. And if he's secluded just with family and close friends, one of them had to be the one to type up the words. But any event, it is done now, and they're going to come out here and, try to sell us, water in the waterfall, right? They're going to try to sell us water in the waterfall, or rain in the waterfall, whatever. But they're going to try to sell us some stuff. And so I'm just curious about, where do we go from here? What happens now? That is the question on a lot of people's minds. We have had time over the last, to think about it, especially since the debates. Like, we know they're going to do something. Matter of fact, Vivek Ramaswamy has been saying it for quite some time now, that they're going to pull Joe out. He's been saying it, and I think he challenged it recently. He talked about it, pulling old Joe out. Like, just put whoever it is that you're going to put in. Let's get it over with. Stop the lying, stop the BSing, and let's just move on. Because we know it ain't going to be Joe. We know you're going to pull him. And so now they have. And so kudos to Vivek Ramaswamy for always standing firm on that, knowing that this would happen. So now that Joe Biden has pulled out, that leaves the door wide open for old Kamala. Kamala. Okay, so how do we see this thing playing out, right, with Kamala Harris? I don't know how it's going to play out. We know that she's not liked. The American people don't want her. The American people don't want Joe. The American people don't want anything Biden, Harris, Biden. We the people, we reject that, right? We reject that, like Kamala said. Yeah, we reject you. So the party doesn't want her. She's not liked in her party. She's not liked by the people. So why put her out here? Well, if they don't put her out here, what are they going to do? They can't put the Black Queen down, right? You can't put the Black Queen down, or else you're going to have the blackity blacks. You're going to have the affirmative action people. They're going to come out here in droves, right? To say, you can't do that to the Black Queen. You can't push Kamala Harris aside, because Kamala Harris is a woman of color. She is a Black woman, and you cannot skip her. Okay? This her turn, this her turn, this her turn. And you better accept it. You better do it, because Kamala Harris is going to be the VP, or she's going to be the president. So they're afraid of the blackity blacks coming out here crying, boohoo, whining, racism. The Democrat Party is back to their old ways. I wonder if they would admit it at this point, because it's so interesting when I talk to Democrats, especially Black Democrats, or when we listen to them, Roland Martin, who else? All of the different mouthpieces. When we listen to them, and they're always pro-Democrat, 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 when they know that who and what the Democrat Party is and was, and has always been the party of the KKK, the party of racism, the party who did not want us to end slavery, on and on and on and on. It would be so interesting that if they said, you know what, Kamala's not going to be the girl. Like, we don't want her. We're going to figure this out. And the Black and the Blacks come out here and say, you know what? They are still the racist party that they always were. They are still the party of Jim Crow. They are still the party of slavery. They are still the party of this, and they're still the party of that. But today you ask them, they say, oh no, the Democrat Party has turned over a new leaf, baby. The Democrat Party is not the party that they used to be. They have repented of their sins. Even though Joe Biden wrote the 1994 crime bill that locked up a whole bunch of Negro men, they're going to say no, they're no longer that. They have repented. And so therefore you need to accept them. But mark my words, if they throw old Kamala under the bus and say, Kamala, we're going to move on from you, girl. We don't trust you. We don't like you. You can't run the country. All you do is talk word salad. You can't communicate and you cackle like a hen. Like, we can't do it, Kamala. We can't do it. We're going to have to bypass you and go with somebody else. And do you think that the blacks would just stand for that? Oh no, friends. We would have it worse than what we saw during George Floyd. It would be way worse. They would burn the whole America. They would burn down America for Kamala. Salad talking, cackling Kamala. Not because of who she is, but because of her color, right? And because of her vagina, because she got a vagina. So they would, come out here, boo-hoo, whine, and cry, and they would burn down the country. They would burn down the country. So this brings us to what happens now. So if it is Kamala that they put in, that means she's going to need a running mate, right? She's going to need a running mate. And on that note, I'm going to take you to a quick commercial. And because my jaw hurts, y'all. I've been talking for like 20 minutes. My jaw hurts. I gotta get used to talking so much all the time, right? But in any event, I'm gonna take a quick little break. As you saw there, I almost choked in the intro of that video. So my throat is giving me a bother. So I'm gonna play this real quick and I'll be right back.
Hello, fellow patriots. I am so proud to announce our new line of patriotic candles. They come in 5 different scents. They are amazing scents. If you are a candle person, or if you know somebody who is a candle person, then you know we live by candles. And this would make an amazing present, a gift for anybody you know. This is a great product, very well made, lovely scents. And they are soothing and comfortable and patriotic, just in time to light them up for the 4th holiday, just in time to burn for freedom. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to burn them and light them up for freedom. So go to orlandopatriot.com and get yourself 30% off right now.
Okay, friends. So that means Kamala Harris will have to find herself a partner to run with. Now, last night, I wish I thought to pull it up. Last night, the buzz was happening on Twitter because, I wish I thought to pull it up. I would have pulled up that video. I don't want to go search for it now. But our friend Alex Jones, InfoWars, put out a video last night on Twitter that he's been having conversations with some of the, political movers and shakers. And the word on the street is, or the word on Twitter, or the word on X is that they were looking to pull Joe Biden and put Hillary in. That's what he was saying. He was like, they're pulling Joe and Hillary is the girl they're going with. So that could still happen. That could still happen. They would just put Kamala at the top and put Hillary at the back. But we all know Hillary Clinton ain't gonna be taking no second crumbs, right? She the boss. She runs this. No, we're gonna say, you know what, Kamala, you go behind, you continue as the VP. We're gonna put Hillary in here because it's time to give her grievances. It's time to give her this so she can take down Trump. So that maybe they could go that route. I haven't heard anybody really say that except for Alex Jones saying that Hillary might be the one that they put in. Now that would you know, that you would still get a whole bunch of blacks boohoo whining and crying, but they would still vote because Kamala would still be on the ticket, and a lot of them would be happy that it's a double team. It's a vagina. It's a woman ticket. So that what might make them very good. But so can you imagine? It would be Clinton Harris at this point, because you know Hillary ain't gonna go in the back. It will be a Clinton Harris thing. That's an interesting thought. Woman and woman again. All they ever want is to make history. We're making history. So this would be a great history making moment for the Democrats, for them to say, you know what? Here's Hillary, here's Kamala, or to make peace, they might just put Kamala at the top and say, Hillary, you're going to have to just bite your tongue and take this as it is. Actually, you will be the one running the country, but, you know, we'll just put Kamala out there to save the peace so that the Negroes don't come out here and burn the country down, right? So they don't burn the country down, or the Black Lives Matter don't come and burn the country down, or the Antifas don't come and burn the country down. To save peace, to save the party, to save our union, you'll just have to go behind Kamala, but you'll be running the show. So that's one scenario. Another scenario could be that they put Kamala in, and then they pull another strong person, another governor somewhere. Maybe they can go for the same woman team setup with maybe Gretchen Whitmore out there. I think she's in Michigan, or Kathy Hochul. God, Lee, maybe, who knows, right? She's tough. Maybe her. But they gonna have to watch her, the way she say racist things, you know, like black kids don't know how to use computers and all that. They may have to tone her down some, you know, they may have to scrub her what she say before they put her out here. So that's another thing. But what about a male? You know, again, whoever they pull in, friends, Kamala is just gonna be the face. She's just really not, just like Joe, just a skeleton in the space, right? Nobody trusts her to do anything. Nobody trusted Joe to do anything. So she'll just be there to dog and pony show everybody, just to put a dog and pony show on. So so here we are with her. So who would be another strong person? Now we've been throwing the name Gavin Newsom around, right? This could be the guy. They could pull him in and say, hey, this guy could be it. Or what value does Gavin Newsom bring, right? He doesn't have name recognition. He is, from what I understand, some sort of psychotic. And when you look at the job he's done in California, this would be what he do to the rest of America. Like Skid Row, that mess going over there, LA, the tent cities everywhere, and then the laws that he's put in, you know, the no bails and criminals running free. You know, they're carjacking everybody. They are literally destroying California. Like, it's literally destroyed. So that's just a mini show of what Gavin Newsom would do to the rest of the country. So with that, people may say no. Even the Democrats may say, you know what, Gavin Newsom, yeah, this ain't gonna be it. You know, you're charming, you got a nice face and all that. You know, you can really slither that old tongue around. But yeah, friend, we can't do that because you done destroyed California, and you're gonna do, unless that's their plan, unless that's what they want. And so they'll put Newsom in because, of course, they all hate America. So Gavin Newsom there. I heard earlier maybe the governor of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, some guy, I think, what's his name? I forget. But anyway, I hear he might be a strong one to sort of bring those votes in. I don't know. But anyway, that's where we're at with Kamala Harris and this Biden administration and what's happening. But I don't know. Hell, maybe they'll say, you know what, Obama, why don't you come back? Why don't you come back and take over the realm? As if he stopped running the country, right, y'all? As if he had stopped running the country. So they might just say, hey, Obama, you come back in, you know, because he could run again. Why not? Or they might all decide, you know, at their convention and say, you know what, we're going with Obama. We're going with Obama. Kamala, you can stay VP, but we're going with Obama. You know, who knows what they're going to do. But I have a couple of clips that I would like to play. But beforehand, I just want to say thanks again for coming by and making yourself available on this Sunday evening. It's really great. Like, this was very impromptu. I wouldn't have come on today if it wasn't for this news. So I just wanted to share. And so just so you are aware, I do have super chats on here. If you feel inclined to help out the channel, it really does help. So with that being said, I'm going to play one video, a short video, in reference to what the media is saying about all of this. And this is coming from our friends at MSNBC.
News White House correspondent Monica Alba, who's got some fresh reporting for us. Monica, what do you have?
Well, Katie, I think it's just so notable in everything you've just been discussing there when we talk about the factors that went into this decision for President Biden. We have to remember he's isolated in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware with COVID, and that's where he has been these last couple of days, having some of these difficult discussions, I'm told. But ultimately, even last night with some of his closest aides, with members of his inner circle, he had told them privately, I understand, that he was full speed ahead, that he wanted to continue with this campaign. Even this morning, some key White House and Biden reelection effort surrogates were on the airwaves.
So if even up to this morning, people close to him, even up to this morning, he was still full speed ahead. Last night, he was full speed ahead. This morning, he's still full speed ahead. What happened? Who influenced him? Who brought him? Let me get my hammer, y'all. Let me get my hammer. Who gave him the hammer and said, Joe Biden, this is it. You need to pull out and you need to do it now? Who influenced him? Who came around and said, you need to do this today? You need to do this. And here is the letter. Get it done. Sign it. We're done. Somebody had to. If he was on board this morning, it's now 6:40. He was on board this morning. I don't know when he dropped this letter. And when did he drop his tweet? I saw it at about 4 o'clock. So yeah, what happened between then and then? Somebody had to influence him or coerced him and said, Joe, it's time to go.
Saying this isn't a discussion about President Biden making a future decision. They had said he had made his decision and it was to stay in the race. And some of those people didn't even find out about the president changing his mind until just moments before it went out formally on his own account on social media. That's how closely this was held. But Katie, I think it's really important to remind our viewers of who was around the president when this was happening these last couple of days. And that's his real close and immediate family. And in large part, that is because of his COVID diagnosis, but also because we knew, and we had reported, NBC News knew these conversations were happening a couple of days ago, that there was this awareness and acceptance of a more reality-based conversation that needed to take place about if the president were to leave the race, what it would look like. And the people closest to him, his family, we reported, were really talking about this in the context of wanting to make sure that if this happened, it would be befitting of a public servant who had been in elected office for more than 5 decades. And that was a really important part of this story. Once we knew that that was happening, there was an acknowledgement from within the people who know the president the best that this was a more than likely possibility. It wasn't talked about as any kind of a foregone conclusion, but the fact that those conversations were even happening, I think tells you a lot, and it tells you a lot about these last couple of days. And we know he has been with the First Lady, who, by the way, is supposed to be going to the Paris Olympics to be at the opening ceremony in the coming days, heading there. So that is something to think about when we're now talking about where President Biden will give a larger speech, laying out this thinking and giving this formal notice of this decision to the American people. And we believe that that will be a speech in the coming days, as he hinted at in his letter. But they want to make sure, again, that so much of this was going to be calculated, according to the people that I've talked to and just spoken with, on his own timeline. And there were many around him who were very close to him who still believed that there was more time to that timeline. They felt like they had maybe bought some time with some of these forceful statements. With this decision to be back on the campaign trail, he had said just in a statement on Friday, he had pledged to be back talking about Project 2025, to be talking about former President President Trump. And now here we are 48 hours later with this very, very significant decision. And
yeah, so there we go. There we go. He was ready to go, continuing the fight for democracy up until somewhere about noon, until he got a visit from somebody, and somebody say, "It's time to go, Joe." Might have been Obama. Who knows? So there we are. I do have another clip, but I would like to say that so much happens. This has been the craziest election year. I mean, between President Trump and all of these trials that he's had, you know, the incident last week, him being shot, the RNC convention recently, and everybody coming towards his aid, and Joe Biden, you know, getting the COVID after he's had how many boosters? You know, I still don't understand that. How can Joe Biden have the COVID? He's had the shot multiple times. He's got the boost after the boost after the boost. How come he still can have the COVID? Didn't they tell us if you got the shot, you couldn't get the COVID? And if you got the boosters, you couldn't get the COVID? So I don't have the shot. I don't take boosters, so I don't know nothing about that. But in any event, I'm just saying, you were told that you were supposed to get the shot to prevent you from getting the COVID. That's all I know. In any event, so now he's had the COVID, hiding away, getting better, and now this, because these people have seen the writing on the wall, and they say to Joe Biden, you know, if we're going to beat Trump, you're going to have to sit down. And do they really have a strong person to take them? I mean, either way this thing goes, Kamala Harris is not popular. Nobody likes her. Nobody's going to vote for her, you know, except for maybe the 90% Black woman clique, right? They will always vote for Kamala. They will always vote for the Democrats. But nobody else will, because nobody likes her. She's an empty vessel. She brings nothing. She's an empty vessel with nothing. And so we're going to take another look at another clip that talks a little bit about Kamala Harris and the party, and some of these people out here who are not so ambitious because they don't want to go against Joe. And another thing I want to point out is that in that original letter that I read, if you're coming on now, go back when we're done here. I have a reading I did as the press secretary of the letter that Joe Biden wrote. And so in that letter, the first letter he wrote, he said that, you know, Kamala was a great running mate and so on, but he never endorsed her in that letter. Okay. It wasn't until later, until the news was talking about, okay, this letter, and there was no endorsement for Kamala Harris. And then later on, they took it to Twitter to say, we endorse her. So I find it interesting. Whoever wrote this letter was not trying to do that. And so it kind of brings it to a question as to why wasn't that put in that original letter? And what kind of game are we playing here to come out on Twitter to say, yeah, we endorse her, you know? So I thought that was interesting. Being that it wasn't in the official letter, right? The official document of his resignation, I suppose you could call it that. But he came out on X to say that. Who knows? But we're going to look at a clip now of, I forget which news outlet this is. Again, just giving you some context in all of this. And they're going to talk a little bit about the other people who can come alongside her or who could challenge her. But because Grandpa Joe say, I endorse Kamala, therefore everybody's saying, you know what? We're going to skip this one. We're going to let the Black Queen have her moment for 4 more years. God, I hope not. I hope somebody do challenge her. But that's another thought. RFK Jr., what happens to him? Now, before I came on here, I saw that he was having a live. I don't have any information on that here right now. That may be a video I make later on. But now he is in the running, right? And he used to be a Democrat. He pulled out to become an MPA because they wouldn't give him any, airtime. They wouldn't give him any kind of play on the Democrat ticket. But it would make sense, right? For democracy, since he's already in the running, it would make sense that they would say, you know what? Let us pull in RFK to make this thing work. He's already been out there. He's already been campaigning. He's already spending his money. He's already here. And he is a registered Democrat, unless because, again, he switched it to do MPA to do this. But still, that would be the democratic thing to do, wouldn't it? Tell me in the comments, somebody, wouldn't that be the right thing to do? We'll say RFK Jr. I mean, I'm no fan. I don't really like his politics. He's got some things, that I don't care for, but he's got some things that I like, like he doesn't like the vaccines and the COVID vaccines and all that. So I'm on board with him with that. But that would make like democracy work, wouldn't it? That here he is running. It should be an automatic thing, but who knows? But in any event, let's see this clipping in reference to this.
Is doing a lot of reporting, and I want to make sure we get to all of the new information that is just coming in. Robert Costa, I know you have something new you want to share with us.
Yes. So sources close to several of the people who might be considered possible challengers to Vice President Harris for the nomination, people close to California Governor Gavin Newsom, people close to Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, all saying they're preparing to stand down. They do not believe that Democrats will challenge Vice President Kamala Harris at the convention in Chicago. Already in this immediate aftermath of President Biden's momentous decision, you see behind the scenes Democratic consolidation. The real race will be for vice presidential nomination on the Democratic side. But it is intriguing to me as a reporter, but there's no one at this moment preparing behind the scenes to challenge Vice President Harris.
That's right. Governor Gretchen Whitmer just saying, with Biden out, my job in this election will remain the same, doing everything I can to help elect Democrats and stop Donald Trump. She wrote that on social media, so she will not get
all focuses on how to take down Trump. That's their focus. Now that Joe Biden has stepped aside, the focus is how to take down Trump. How do we coalition? How do we align? How do we come together? Who's our top guy to take down Trump? I'll tell y'all a secret. They can't take down Trump unless they use the machines again and cheat again like they did in 2020. I'm just saying.
In the way of Kamala Harris seeking this Democratic Party nomination.
And my sources agree with yours in terms of not seeing a head-to-head challenger. But the question then becomes, who is the person who stands beside her August 19th at that Democratic convention to seek the nomination in that vice president role? That's where the focus is. Anyone, I was told, looking to challenge her would be committing political suicide to try to go head-to-head after Joe Biden had been so key in making it very clear just within minutes of announcing he was not going to seek re-election that he was endorsing her. So that's what we're looking at now.
In a moment, let's talk about who those potential vice presidential picks will be. But first, I do want to touch base with Willie James Inman. He is in Delaware. And I know, Willie, you have some reaction from the Biden family. Willie?
Hey there, Nora. Good to be with you. Well, the Biden family is reacting to this seismic news today. Jill Biden, she reposted the president's statement and she put a heart emoji, so sending her love to her husband. We know that the First Lady has been with the president as he's recovering from COVID-19 here in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. We also are seeing some reaction from the president's granddaughter, Naomi Biden, who said, quote, "I'm nothing but proud today of my pop," referring to her nickname, of course, for the president there. And I want to bring up some reaction as well from Frank Biden, the president's younger brother, who tells ABC News that his brother's decision to step down out of the race boils down to his overall health and vitality, but also beating this genuine threat to our nation in the form of Donald Trump. Some reaction there from the Biden family, of course, who have been close with the president in coming to this decision that we are seeing today, Nora.
So the family, huh? The Biden family business is crumbling before their very eyes. Jill Biden sending emojis of love. Yeah, the Biden family, once Biden falls, the rest of them fall because he is their meal ticket to everything, right? Hunter Biden, where's Hunter? Joe Biden, Jill Biden, Frank Biden, all of the Bidens. Now that Grandpa Joe, as Pop, is that what he said? Pop, as Pop, has been put down, and so has the rest of the Bidens.
James Inman, thank you. It is now the top of the hour, 3 o'clock here on the East Coast, and we are coming on the air with this breaking news. The historic decision by President Joe Biden announcing that he will not seek re-election, that he is dropping out of the presidential campaign, and that he is throwing his support behind his Vice President, Kamala Harris. The president in a statement saying, "We have made great progress as a nation and that it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." The president also indicating that he will speak to the nation later this week and have more detail about his decision. Let's go now to our chief White House correspondent, Nancy Cordes, at the White House with new details. Nancy?
Nora, you just read from that letter that the president sent and that went out publicly at 1:45 this afternoon. Well, I've just learned from a top White House official that senior campaign and White House officials were informed of his decision right before that letter went out. He said he'd been reflecting on it for the past couple of days and that this information was closely held.
I'm confused again because the other news reporting said that up to this morning, him and his people, he was still, I'm in it. We're going to get it done. I'm doing it. It begs to differ. They're reporting different things. So they're saying last night, yesterday, he was still saying how he's in it. What happened this morning, between this morning and about 1 o'clock, because somebody had to type up that letter, unless it was already written for Joe, for him to get a visitor, the visitor give him the hammer. Who was it? And what did they say that convinced him to sit down?
Still don't have much timing on when the president plans to make an address to the public. Keep in mind, he's still got COVID. He is isolating at his home in Rehoboth, but I'm told it should be sometime later this week.
And Nancy, what about the vice president? I understand that she was just in Cape Cod at a multi-million-dollar fundraiser. Where is she today? What's happening inside her group of advisors?
She has had to be so careful these past 3 weeks to be out there on the trail campaigning as if nothing has changed. At no point did she want to look like she was gunning for this job or hoping for the president to step aside, and yet she had to continue to be a vigorous campaigner pushing for the Biden-Harris ticket. And I anticipate that she is going to continue to, not want to get out ahead of the president. She has to now launch into a lightning sprint between now and Election Day, and yet with the president holed up with COVID, she's going to want to be very careful until he's had his opportunity to get out there and explain in a more fulsome way to the American people why he has decided to step aside and why he has decided to throw the weight of his support behind Kamala Harris.
Nancy Cordes at the White House, thank you for that perspective and new reporting. Robert Costa is here. Robert?
I've been texting and speaking with members of the inner circle of Vice President Harris. She is now perhaps the most important political figure in the United States, the assumed Democratic nominee, the first female to serve as the Democratic presidential nominee since Secretary Hillary Clinton in 2016. Her team and her closest friends are telling CBS News this afternoon that she is
Gotta see the accolades. 59-year-old, first woman, Black American, and South Asian Pacific to be elected vice president. You got to put in the stones. You got to put, this is first woman, Black American, and South Asian Pacific to be elected. I mean, you can't make her up. Yeah.
Prepared to be the nominee to take on former President Trump at a debate, that they believe she is a strong debater, that she proved her chops when she was on the Senate Judiciary Committee grilling nominees for the Supreme Court, and that she was a prosecutor in California going back to her days in San Francisco. Her inner circle said she has been careful in recent days, but she has also been thinking ahead to the possibility as these calls and discussions have picked up speed. She expects former President Obama, President Biden in particular, to be out on the campaign trail for her. And there's also a belief right now inside Vice President Harris's inner circle that they could put former President Trump on the ropes, that he has so far in the past few days attacked her on personal characteristics, attacked her laugh at his latest campaign rally, called her Laughin' Kamala Harris. And they believe those kind of attacks, which are personal, will not stick with the kind of swing voters that are ultimately perhaps going to decide this election in the key battleground states.
CBS News is...
Okay. Let's remove that. You guys, so I'm curious to know what cackling Kamala is going to come out here to say whenever it is that she comes out here to say. What the news said that they may have her hold off so she can, follow old Joe Biden's lead and how he wants to present and all of this before she come out here cackling about, I'm going to be the next boss. I'm going to be the next president of the United States of America, and cackle on and on and on with saying nothing really. So guys, hello friends who came to see me. Hi, the Arena Uncensored is here. Hello. Hi, Amanya. It's Terry. Just saw Dora today. Hi, Terry. Oh my God. This is a person in real life, you guys, not YouTube people. This is somebody that I know. Hi, darling. Always, I think they threatened to blackmail him or threaten his life. Right. So somebody had to give him the hammerhead, Terry. I'm so glad you came. Let's chat offline. You saw Dora. I hope she's well. Dora's a great friend of ours. Who's actually a patriot, you guys. She's been on the ground with us. She's been at the events with us. So that's gonna be, I think that's gonna be it. I'm gonna be going on the radio tonight, so I gotta be scooting on. And so I just wanted to come on here and do this while this thing was hot, while I wanted to get this video done, so this live stream done about this news. But I'm going to be headed out. I'm going, like I said, I'm going to be on the Void Nicholas show tonight, and we're going to talk about some local politics. We're going to have one of our candidates, Tuan Lee, on the program tonight. Gosh, I wish I knew how to tell y'all to go and watch it. I don't think I'm going to stream it because we're in a different setup. So any event, that's what's happening with me. So we'll catch up tomorrow. I'm sure there's more that's going to be coming out, and I may come out live again, or I may put a video together in reference to what I'm thinking. So if you missed this beginning of the live stream, go back and watch it, because I did do a skit of the press secretary delivering this news to we the people. So you all go check that out, and I'm going to let myself out of here because I got to get on the road, friends. And so let's go. Oh, it's over.